Charlie, me, I dey invest all my tier 3 pension funds with Sims. Yes, Sims, Stanbic Investment Management Services. Even when the financial sector was shaking and people were not getting access to their money, I was smiling because I had 24/7 access to my money. No long things. Invest with Sims now.
Today is a happy day.
Stanbic Income Fund Trust, which I now declare open. I now call upon the Secretary to read the notice of the meeting.
Notice of virtual annual general meeting of Stanbic Income Fund Trust. Notice is hereby given that the 11th annual general meeting of the unit holders of Stanbic Income Fund Trust, the fund, will be held virtually on Friday, July 15, 2022 at 10 a.m. and shall be streamed live to all unit holders from Stanbic Heights, Plot 215, South Liberation Link, Airport City, Accra, for the transaction of the following business. Agenda 1. To receive the report of the manager of the fund for the year ended December 31, 2021. 2. To consider the trustees' report and the report of auditors for the year ended December 31, 2021. 3. To receive and adopt the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2021. And 4. To authorize the manager to fix the remuneration of the auditors. Dated June 22, 2022, by order of the manager, Stanbic Investment Management Services Limited, on behalf of the trustee, Universal Merchant Bank Limited. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amajimfua Abrifa. The first item on the agenda is to receive the report of the manager of the fund for the year ended December 31, 2021. I call upon Mr. Parkwesi Blebu to read the report of the manager to unit holders.
Dear unit holders and partners, I am pleased to welcome you to the 2021 Annual General Meeting of the Stanbic Income Fund Trust, SIF. SIF ended the year 2021 with a return of 17.78% and assets under management of 575 million. Economic outturn. The worsening pandemic dynamics threaten the expected strong recovery of the global economy in 2021. In developing countries, new strains of the COVID-19 virus emerge, causing supply chain bottlenecks, especially in the developed markets in the second half of 2021. Moreover, inflationary pressures continue to mount, making policy choices more difficult. As a result, the International Monetary Fund's initial global growth guidance of 6.1% was subsequently revised downwards to 5.9% for 2021, with some looming uncertainties around the forecast. Central banks seem to have maxed out on the stimulus policy support, hinting at a reversal of easy money tools in favor of inflation targeting. The impact of the Delta variant of the COVID-19 virus also subdued growth in the United States of America to 5.7% at the end of the year. The inflationary risk was also stickier than initially anticipated. We saw the U.S. Federal Reserve move from a hesitancy posturing to that of discussions on potential rate hikes and market tapering in 2022. The euro area bounced back to growth of 5.3% in 2021 after tiptoeing around economic reopening earlier in the year. China continued its strong growth, averaging 8.1%, beating the growth forecast of 2021. In Ghana, the spillover in global inflationary pressures and the recovery of economic activities toward pre-pandemic levels saw the central bank increase its benchmark policy rate from 13.5% to 14.5% in November 2021. The fiscal and debt position of the economy continued to be a concern to the managers of the economy as they explored measures to improve revenues and reduce foreign debt accumulation. Some economic activities improved: port activity, sea and air, construction, and industrial consumption continue to improve to pre-pandemic levels as the global economy relaxed COVID-19 related restrictions and consumption continue to improve. And the vaccination drive continued in the country. As of December 2021, the economy had expanded by an average of 5.4% compared to 0.4% in 2020. However, inflationary pressures continue to persist, driven by the pass-through effect of taxes, base effect from the prior year, and the acute food shortages in the northern parts of the country. Overall headline inflation as of December was 12.6%, above the 10% cap medium-term target. The Eurobond issuance and the favorable trade position saw the relative stability of the currency within the year until the last quarter of 2021, when foreign investors began selling off their positions. The cedi depreciated by 4.1% in 2021 compared to 3.9% in the prior year. Revenues in 2021 fell short by 3% due to lower than expected non-oil tax revenue caused by the pandemic. The government expenditure, however, increased, leading to the widening of the fiscal deficit to 9.7% from the program 9.5%. The stock market recorded a robust performance, returning about 44% on the broader market index in 2021, better than 2020. The gradual recovery in key sectors of the economy improved the financial positions of some of the equities, contributing to the year's performance. Telecommunication, banking, and petroleum stocks broadly drove the market performance and activities. Concerns around Ghana's debt, sustainability, and rate hike expectations in advanced economies saw foreign investor sell-offs across the local and Eurobond markets in the last quarter of 2021. As a result, medium-term bonds trading at approximately 17 to 19% ended the year at approximately 17 to 20.8%. We believe yields will continue to be elevated. However, local institutional investors near natural demand for government securities will likely moderate any yield surge. Investment performance. SIF's AUM recorded a 56% year-on-year growth to 575 million in 2021. The fund reported increased activities in local government and statutory agency securities during the review period. Bonds made up 69% of the fund's assets, with 25% invested in money market instruments and about 6% in cash and near-cash securities at the end of 2021. The full-year return for 2021 was 17.8%, ahead of its benchmark of 16.9%. SIF's full-year distributable earnings grew by 63% from 50.5 million in 2020 to 82.5 million in 2021. The fund's performance is attributed comparatively higher rates in fixed deposit, corporate bonds, and tactical allocations into medium-term government and quasi-government securities. Outlook and strategy. The potential downside risks to global economic growth in 2022 include an outbreak of different strains of COVID-19 virus, persistence in the supply chain bottlenecks, and inflationary pressures. Multiple consensus predict a base case of 4% growth in 2022, lower than the 5% recorded in 2021 by the World Bank. In developing and frontier markets like Ghana, debt sustainability and fiscal constraint space exacerbated by the pandemic should continue to pose a medium-term risk. The 2022 budget signaled a bold stance by the managers of the economy to address revenue weakness through broad-based tax measures and expenditure. Noticeable among these fiscal measures are the renegotiation of energy sector IPP contracts, various expenditure cuts in government agencies and state-owned enterprises and state ministries, and the introduction of the electronic levy, with the potential to rake in 4.5 billion cedis. These measures are forecasted to improve the fiscal position to 7.4% in 2022. However, this achievement remains doubtful due to delays in implementing the taxes. The Ministry of Finance also anticipates a further improvement in the fiscal position to the mandatory 5% cap by 2024. The increasing pricing pressures from global spillover, especially the Russia-Ukraine war, will continue to fuel a surge in the prices of commodities, and coupled with some domestic drivers, will continue to pose a risk to the central bank's medium-term inflation target of 6 to 10%. However, the forecasted GDP growth of 5.8% in 2022 should not be far-fetched, as the industrial sector shows signs of recovery. We expect pressure on the currency at least in the first quarter of 2022 as the government deviates from its usual activity on the Eurobond market, given higher borrowing costs. In addition, capital outflows, dividend payments by multinational and foreign investors unwinding existing exposures should pose some risks to the cedi's performance. However, intervention by the central bank will play a critical role in mitigating a potential steep currency depreciation during this period. Nonetheless, we expect government to explore alternative external funding sources, such as the IMF special drawing rights and syndicated loans from commercial banks to support its activities. We expect at least 4 rate hikes from the U.S. Fed in 2022, which should see foreign investors unwind their positions across emerging markets, including Ghana, increasing medium to long-term yields during the year. On the stock market, the momentum is expected to decline in 2022 as market participants hold and monitor the impact of the new taxes and the currency performance on key stocks. Such hesitancy will contribute to the sluggish performance, at least in the first half of 2022. Based on these developments, the strategy for SAFE in 2022 is to closely monitor the interest rate curve to sustain fund returns with a focus on short to medium-term securities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blevin. The next item on the agenda is to consider the trustees' report. I now call upon Mr. Ekolfoa to read the trustees' report for the year ended December 31, 2021.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, our esteemed unit holders. In our opinion, according to the information made available to us and the explanations provided, we confirm that in all material respects, the manager has managed the scheme during the period covered by these financial statements in accordance with the trust deed dated 18 July 2016 as amended, and all regulations for the time being in force under the Securities Industry Act 2016, Act 929, and the Unit Trust and Mutual Fund Regulations 2001 LI 1695. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foa. I will now ask the auditor, Baker, Tilly, Under and Under, to read their report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I seek your permission to read relevant portions of the report? Am I permitted? Okay, thank you. So I read my report. Report of the independent auditors to the unit holders of Stanbic Income Fund Trust. Reports on the audit of the financial statement. Opinion. We've audited the financial statements of Stanbic Income Fund Trust, which comprise the statement of assets and liabilities as at 31st December 2021, income and distribution account, portfolio statement and capital account for the year then ended, and
Management Services provides world-class money management services to individuals, institutional pensions, and group funds. Sign up today for the Stanbic Cash Trust or the Stanbic Income Fund and experience diversified and flexible investment solutions. Managed by your investment specialists. Stanbic Investment Management Services is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and registered with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank. It can be.
found a new job and it's doing very well. And all I'm doing is saving to build a house.
You don't save to build a house. You invest to build a house. That is why I want to take you to my financial advisors. They are thorough.
From markets and currencies to people and politics, everything today affects investment outcomes. If you cannot make the connection, you cannot make the money. We are one of Africa's and Ghana's largest fund managers. Stanbic Investment Management Services provides world-class money management services to individuals, institutional pensions, and group funds. Sign up today for the Stanbic Cash Trust or the Stanbic Income Fund and experience diversified and flexible investment solutions. Managed by your investment specialists. Stanbic Investment Management Services is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and registered with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank. It can be.
Charlie, me, I dey invest all my tier 3 pension funds with Sims. Yes, Sims, Stanbic Investment Management Services. Even when the financial sector was shaking and people were not getting access to their money, I was smiling because I had 24/7 access to my money. No long things. Invest with Sims now.
Today is a happy day. It's been 10 solid years of investment. Postpone enjoyment today for a better tomorrow and trust your future in the hands of the investment professionals. Call Sims on 18080 MTN toll free, 0800 10009 Vodafone toll free, or 0302 815 789. Stanbic Investment Management Services, your investment specialist. From markets and currencies to people and politics, everything today affects investment outcomes. If you cannot make the connection, you cannot make the money. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank. It can be. We are one of Africa's and Ghana's largest fund managers. Stanbic Investment Management Services provides world-class money management services to individuals, institutional pensions, and group funds. Sign up today for the Stanbic Cash Trust or the Stanbic Income Fund and experience diversified and flexible investment solutions. Managed by your investment specialists. Stanbic Investment Management Services is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and registered with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank. It can be.
I found a new job and it's doing very well. And all I'm doing is saving to build a house.
You don't save to build a house. You invest to build a house. That is why I want to take you to my financial advisors. They are thorough.
From markets and currencies to people and politics, everything today affects investment outcomes. If you cannot make the connection, you cannot make the money. We are one of Africa's and Ghana's largest fund managers. Stanbic Investment Management Services provides world-class money management services to individuals, institutional pensions, and group funds. Sign up today for the Stanbic Cash Trust or the Stanbic Income Fund and experience diversified and flexible investment solutions. Managed by your investment specialists. Stanbic Investment Management Services is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and registered with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank. It can be.
Charlie, me, I dey invest all my tier 3 pension funds with Sims. Yes, Sims, Stanbic Investment Management Services. Even when the financial sector was shaking and people were not getting access to their money, I was smiling because I had 24/7 access to my money. No long things. Invest with Sims now.
Today is a happy day. It's been 10 solid years of investment. Postpone enjoyment today for a better tomorrow and trust your future in the hands of the investment professionals. Call Sims on 18080 MTN toll free, 0800 10009 Vodafone toll free, or 0302 815 789. Stanbic Investment Management Services, your investment specialist. From markets and currencies to people and politics, everything today affects investment outcomes. If you cannot make the connection, you cannot make the money. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank. It can be. We are one of Africa's and Ghana's largest fund managers. Stanbic Investment Management Services provides world-class money management services to individuals, institutional pensions, and group funds. Sign up today for the Stanbic Cash Trust or the Stanbic Income Fund and experience diversified and flexible investment solutions. Managed by your investment specialists. Stanbic Investment Management Services is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and registered with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank. It can be.
I found a new job and it's doing very well. And all I'm doing is saving to build a house.
You don't save to build a house. You invest to build a house. That is why I want to take you to my financial advisors. They are thorough.
From markets and currencies to people and politics, everything today affects investment outcomes. If you cannot make the connection, you cannot make the money. We are one of Africa's and Ghana's largest fund managers. Stanbic Investment Management Services provides world-class money management services to individuals, institutional pensions, and group funds. Sign up today for the Stanbic Cash Trust or the Stanbic Income Fund and experience diversified and flexible investment solutions. Managed by your investment specialists. Stanbic Investment Management Services is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and registered with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank.
Sorry about the disruption. We had a technical hitch. So we'll take the auditor's reports again. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I read our report. Report of the independent auditors to the unit holders of Stanbic Income Fund Trust. Report on the financial statement. Opinion. We've audited the financial statement of Stanbic Income Fund Trust, which comprise the statement of assets and liabilities as at 31st December 2021, income and distribution accounts, portfolio statement and capital account for the year then ended, and notes to the financial statement, which include a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory notes as set out on pages 16 to 27. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statement presents fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the fund as at its 1st December 2021 and its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards and in the manner required by the Securities Industry Act 2016, Act 929, the Unit Trust and Mutual Funds Regulations, 2001, LI 1695, and the trust deed dated 18th July 2016, as amended. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statement section of our report. We are independent of the fund in accordance with the International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including International Independence Standards, the code issued by the International Ethics Standard Board for Accountants, that's IESBA, and we fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the code. We believe that the audit evidence we've obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in our audit of the financial statement of the current period. They are matters to be addressed in the context of our audit of the financial statement as a whole. and informing an opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on the matters. There were no material key audit matters to report. I'll skip the other information. Then skip that of the responsibilities of the manager for the financial statement and come to the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statements. The objectives of our audit are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes an opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it's not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ICES will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with ICES, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the planning and performance of the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that's sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than for one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal control. Obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the entity's internal control. Evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimate and related disclosures made by management. Conclude on the appropriateness of the management use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cast significant doubts on the fund's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our auditor's report to the related disclosures in the financial statement, or if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on our auditor's report. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the fund to cease to continue as a going concern. Evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statement, including the disclosures and whether the financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieves fair presentation. We are required to communicate with the manager and the trustees regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identified during our audit. Reports of the independent auditors I read this section 2. Reports on other legal and regulatory requirements, very important. Compliance with the requirement of Part 9 of Schedule H of the Unit Trust and Mutual Funds Regulations, 2001, LI 1695. So it should be in compliance with the requirements of Part 9 of Schedule H of the Unit Trust and Mutual Funds Regulations, 2021, LI 1695. We confirm that we've obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of the audit. In our opinion, proper books of account have been kept by the fund so far as appears from the examination of the books. The fund's financial statements are in agreement with the books of account. In our opinion, the fund generally complied with the relevant provisions of the Securities Industry Act, 2016 Act 929. The engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Samuel Abiel, signed on the 29th of April, 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abiel. I now call on Mr. Ni Ashrifi Nunu to present the highlights of the audited financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2021. Mr. Ashrifi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I present the highlights of the financials for the 2021 financial year for Stanbic Income Fund Trust. The net investment income increased significantly by 63.49% in 2021. In 2020, the net investment income was 82.5 million. In 2020, it was 50.46 million. The fund expenses also grew to 9.63 million in 2021 from a 5.9 million in 2020. The strong growth in total income by 36 million in 2021 ensured the increase in our net investment income. The total income grew to 93.6 million in 2021 from 57.31 million in 2020, hence a 63.3% increase year on year. This was on account of an increase in our interest income, which was driven significantly by investments in our GOG instruments and local government and statutory agency securities, which is in line with the strategy of the fund. The net asset also increased by 57.63% in 2021, coming from 56.7% in 2020. This was driven by a significant increase in our total investments by 196 million. Notable was an increase in our long-term Government of Ghana instruments and local government and statutory agencies securities, which aligns with the projected outlook of the fund and strategy of the fund. The fund's units increased by 37.6% in 2021. In 2020, it increased by 28.5%. The value of units issued also increased by 55.8% in 2021. In 2020, it was 7%. The fund prices also increased significantly by 17.7% year on year. So the fund prices in 2021 was 7.72, in 2020 was 6.56, and 2019 was 5.55. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Nunu. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of the Fund Manager's Report for adoption. I now call on Ms. Amma Brifa to take us through the comment and voting process on the motions put forward.
Steps to comment or ask questions. To second the motion, send a comment or question. Kindly locate the chat box at the right or bottom side of your screen. Type and submit your comments and questions there. How to cast a vote. We have provided two options to enable you partake in the voting exercise in real time. To vote by the online platform, Kindly locate the vote box at the bottom of your broadcast screen and follow these steps. Enter the unique token number used to join the meeting. Click Cast Your Vote. Once you have done this, you will see a list of resolutions to be voted for. Follow the voting process by clicking the plus sign and then select your voting option. To vote via short code, dial *899*3# on your phone. Enter the unique code used in joining the meeting. Once you have done this, you can now select your vote option and send. You cannot vote once the chairperson closes the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Abrifa. I hereby move that the Fund Manager's Report for the year ended December 31, 2021, and submitted to the meeting, be and is hereby received and adopted. Would someone please second this motion? To second, kindly go to the chat box, type your full name, and then type seconded.
Ended by Kwesi Ahen.
Motion seconded. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting?
No questions.
Thank you. I now open, sorry.
Madam Chair, so there's a question.
There is a question, okay.
From Elizabeth Ej Ampofo. The question says that we always say our rate is higher than the T-bill rate. Why is T-bill 23 to 25, but the rate here is around 18%?
Mr. Blebu, answer this one.
Okay, to answer the question, so this report is for 2021, the year that just ended. For 2022, in terms of current interest rates, SAFE is positioned as a medium to long-term fund, has taken some positions, but is rebalancing and repricing the portfolio to be able to meet up with the current interest rates. Yeah. So 2021's performance was about 18%. That and T-bill rates were way lower, around 12% to 15%. So the fund outperformed its benchmark. For 2022, given current interest rates positions, we are rebalancing and repricing the portfolio, one from maturities and then also from new cash flows that are coming in, to be able to catch up with, or to be able to meet up with the current rate trend. Thank you.
Further questions. I now open the online platform for voting on the motion to adopt the Fund Manager's Report for the year ended 2021. Voting is closed. Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. I hereby move that the trustees' report for the year ended 2021 and submitted to the meeting be and is hereby received and adopted. Would someone please second this motion?
Madam Chair, seconded by Augustina Ifwa Monua Sakifio.
Thank you. Motion seconded. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting?
No questions, Madam Chair.
I now open the online platform for voting on the motion to adopt the trustees' report for the year ended 2021. seconds for voting to end. Voting is closed. Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. I hereby move that the statements of assets and liabilities accounts as of December 31, 2021, together with the income and distribution accounts and the auditor's report thereon for the year ended on that date, and submitted to the meeting, be and are hereby received and adopted. Would someone please second this motion?
Madam Chair, motion seconded by Allswell Jeff Addo.
Thank you. Motion seconded. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting?
Tier 3 pension funds with Sims. Yes, Sims, Stanbic Investment Management Services. Even when the financial sector was shaking and people were not getting access to their money, I was smiling because I had 24/7 access to my money. No long things, invest with Sims now.
Today is a happy day. It's been 10 solid years of investment. Postpone enjoyment today for a better tomorrow and trust your future in the hands of the investment professionals. Call Sims on 18080 MTN toll free, 0800 10009 Vodafone toll free, or 0302 815 789. Stanbic Investment Management Services, your investment specialist. From markets and currencies to people and politics, everything today affects investment outcomes. If you cannot make the connection, you cannot make the money. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank. It can be.
Again about this hitch. Again, a technical problem. So motion seconded, and if there are any questions? Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting? Sorry, I think I wasn't okay. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry about the hitch again. We had another technical problem. So we'll go back to the motion seconded, and if there are any questions before the motion is put to the meeting.
No questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I now open the online platform for voting on the motion to adopt the financial statements report for the year ended 2021. Voting is closed. Thank you. I declare that the motion has been duly carried. The next item on the agenda is to fix the remuneration of the auditors Baker, Tilly, Under and Under in respect of the year ending December 31, 2022. In line with best practice, and as mentioned at last year's AGM, I hereby take this opportunity to move that the manager be and is hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the auditor for the year ending December 31, 2022. Would someone please second this motion?
Motion seconded by David Inkum.
Thank you. Motion seconded. Are there any questions before the motion is put to the meeting?
Madam Chair, there are no questions in respect of the auditors.
Please note, unit holders, that all other questions will be taken at the end of the motions, so they will be answered duly. I now open the online platform for voting on the motion to fix the remuneration of the auditors for the year ending 2022. closed. Thank you. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. Now, we will now take all the other questions that have been put in the chat room.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, there are a few questions in respect of the Ghana card and linking to investment accounts and use of investment accounts. A member of the SIMS team would provide the email address for us to deal with the Ghana card questions on an individual basis. Because of the regulatory implications, it's important that we fully understand what the issue is to enable us respond accordingly. So all Ghana card issues, please send your query question to the email address, which we will put in the chat box now, and we'll handle it today. Thank you. Madam Chair, I'll then go on to read out a couple of questions, all related to the same area, to do with the interest rates on the funds, and then hand over to the manager. So there's a question here, when will the fund adjust to the current interest rates? What is the current rate on the fund? When are we going to adjust the interest rates again? When is the 2022 interest rate adjustment taking effect? And other questions on changes on interest rates. Someone comments here that the rate they should have adjusted the rates before holding this session. So there's a question on that. Why was the rate not adjusted before holding this session? So these are all the interest rates questions. The theme is the same. Another question is, why is the meeting being held now? The suggestion is that it should have been held in 2021. That's a question that's not interest rate related, but the timing of the meeting. And we want to know our current interest rates. So I believe we need to speak about the interest rates and how same is deduced. Thank you.
Sabrifa, I would hand over the questions on interest rates to Mr. Vlebu and Mr. Boama.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this AGM is speaking to 2021 performance, and from the annual report, the SIF performance for last year, 2021, was 17.8% compared to the benchmark, which was 16.8%. The year 2022 is what we are in now, and the annual general meeting for this year will be held next year, and the full year performance will be made known to our unit holders. In respect of current performance, you'll realize that the year ended with inflation and interest rate around 12%. On the 91-day, 12.6%, as well as inflation also around 12.6%. Come May, we have inflation at 27.3%, and then the latest one, which is June, is 29.8%. Now, this is the change in price from last year, July, all through to the end of June, how prices have changed. Interest rates are forward-looking, and these are current interest rates now, which range around 24, 25, and 27%. The fund is investing new monies in the current interest rates, and as the fund reinvests maturities and new monies in the current interest rates, the fund will automatically price itself and will begin to see higher returns on the fund. It takes time for this to happen, and we can't give a scientific date, a specific date, to say that by this time the fund would have fully repriced. It's a continuous thing that the fund does. And the same way, when interest rate starts going down, you realize that the fund will still continue to enjoy a higher return even when interest rates are down, until the fund again begins to reprice itself based on current rates.
Thank you, Mr. Boama. Is there anything else Mr. Vlebu would like to add?
To add to what Mr. Boama said, just to mention to investors that the fund is a medium to long-term fund, and because of some positions that have been taken, has been able to give the fund the opportunity to be able to outperform its benchmark in previous years. Last year, which reports that we are currently having, also not an exception. So as Mr. Bowman did mention, as the fund continues to reprice itself based on new cash flows that come in, and then also from maturities, we should be able to better place the fund to be able to meet investors' appetite, and then also future benefits that will come from the decisions that we are going to take. Thank you.
Well, I think there's a question on why the meeting is being held now.
The meeting is held once every year, and the first was held in July, and therefore the anniversary of the first meeting, we have the annual general meeting, and hence July has always been the month in which we have our annual general meeting. Thank you.
Are there any more questions?
No more questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of SIMS, the manager for the Stanbic Income Fund Trust, I would like to thank you for your continued interest in the fund's affairs and for attending this meeting. I hereby declare the meeting formally closed. Thank you.
From markets and currencies to people and politics, everything today affects investment outcomes. If you cannot make the connection, you cannot make the money. Stanbic Investment Management Services. Stanbic Bank. It can be.